Welcome to the Oso Archery Podcast. Whether it's your first buck, first bugle, or 100th bugle, we're here to learn, grow, and hunt together. This isn't just archery. This is Oso Archery. Earned, never given. So this is the Oso Archery Podcast, and this is our September is Calling series.
Yep, and today we got Joel Turner on with us. Two-time elk calling champion, world elk calling champion. Don't forget the world part.
Got to have that.
Yeah, that was a few days ago, fellas. That was I won the pro division in 2008 and again in 2010. But that was a long time ago, man.
Oh, that was yesterday.
And probably the most important part is that you're the founder of Shot IQ, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah. So
there we go. And before we get into it, you want to just give us a story of your worst packout you've ever done?
The worst packout?
Yeah, we're making things a little bit different on this one. We want to start with the horror story.
Okay, so this was before I knew about packout bags. I don't know if you guys ever dealt with packout bags.
Oh, yeah.
So this is before that time. I shot a bull about 4.5 miles in the Nooksack unit. And we had to cross a river, and I shot that bull about 6:50 p.m., big 6x7, and it was on an old road system you couldn't drive to, obviously, so we had to cross the river to get to this old road system, and it started raining. We just got him boned out, and it started raining, and my hunting partner, Seth, is an absolute pack mule, so he had probably 120 pounds on his back. I probably had like 80 or 90 on my back, and we were trying to make it out of there. We tried to make a shortcut in the dark. It was about, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night, and we were going down through this reprod, and it was nothing but old growth logs in the reprod. It was a freaking nightmare, and my hunting partner doesn't say much, but man, he was loud that night. I'm just like, screw it, dude, we got to go back to the road, and the road was just this alder choked old main line, and so we finally went back to the road and got out of there that night, and we crossed the river, and that was we just said screw it, just kept our boots on because it's pretty hard to pack meat across the river in bare feet. So we just kept our boots on and got soaked and got back to the rigs about 1 a.m. And then the next day we went in to get the rest of him, and we chopped our way through this cliff system and cut off about 1.5 miles. So that was nice. But we've had some epic packouts, but that one was something special. But now they're not like that because now I have my packout bag, so it's pretty cool.
I don't think people understand how bad that the old growth can be like that when you got a little blowdown in there and whatnot.
Especially when you can't, like, you're going through jack firs, you can't like see where you're going. It's dark, it's raining, and then you run into this log that's like 5 feet tall. You can't go over it. You got to figure out how to go around it or under it if you can. It's just, what a nightmare.
Start army crawling.
It was horrible, man. So, but it just added to that story, and it was one of my best bulls ever. It was really cool.
Definitely make some memories, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, why don't you give us a little background on you, who you are, and where you're from?
Well, so I'm originally from Eatonville, Washington, and now I live in Choteau, Montana. But growing up in Eatonville, it was really good calling bulls around here. I started calling elk when I was 12 years old, and my dad bought me my first mouth reed when I was 12 years old. Had no idea how to use it, just got lucky, threw it in my mouth, and figured out how to make some sounds out of that thing. So I started calling in bulls at 12. I started bow hunting elk at 14. And it took me 13 years to kill one.
13?
13 years of bow hunting elk.
Hey, Joel, I'm on year 8.
Oh, really?
I am. I got close last year, really close, but I just can't capitalize yet.
For me, it was just, not being able to control myself at the moment of truth. I mean, I was calling bulls in like around Eatonville. It was pretty awesome back in those days, but I couldn't hit them. I literally would lose my business at the moment of truth, and I just couldn't hit them. I hunted Oregon. I hunted all over the place. I just couldn't get it done. And
were you slapping triggers back then?
Oh gosh, I couldn't even.
I'm guilty.
So, I mean, not only slapping triggers, but not even able to aim, right? Like I couldn't even get my pin close to a target. I'd get within like 3 feet of it and just dump the bow and punch a trigger all at the same time. It was horrible. It was horrible. So like I didn't know how to fix it at that time, and I wasn't looking in the right places. I wasn't asking the right questions. And so now that we've figured all that stuff out, man, elk hunting is much more enjoyable. So yeah.
When did that all click?
It all clicked like well, it started clicking in like 2008.
Okay.
Like, I killed my first bull in 2003, but it wasn't with a controlled shot. And then I killed 2 bulls in 2005, and I missed some bulls in 2004. 2005, I killed 2 bulls. One was a controlled shot, one was not. But the only way that I could get a controlled shot back in those days was by shooting a release that you couldn't punch. Like it was literally called the Bernie Pellerite can't punch release. It had 2 triggers on it. It had 2 triggers. One trigger was in front of the other trigger. So like the solid trigger that didn't move was in front of it. So if you actually punch a trigger, it would move your finger away from the actual trigger. The other trigger was slightly higher and farther back. So you had to like work your finger, and then that would make it touch the other trigger. And if you punched it, again, it would pull your finger away from the trigger. So I killed a bull and a good mule deer buck that year in 2005 doing that. And, but just not realizing the mental science of what I was doing. Right. So it's, now so 2008, like I shot some controlled shots, but really didn't know what I was doing. 2008, I shot a controlled shot on a big hog in Texas. Didn't know what I was doing. Still, I just never blueprinted it. Killed a bull in 2010 with my longbow at 41 yards. Perfectly controlled shot. Didn't blueprint it. So it wasn't until 2014 that I actually blueprinted how I was doing it. And what that did is that set me on the path of research to really figure out how I was doing it. And now that's how Shot IQ was born. So, and, in all that time, I was a cop. I started being a cop in 2001. And, all that did was up my determination level to really like figure out what I needed to research and what sciences I needed to package to figure shot control out.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. That shot control thing, I know that like when I'm shooting, I really try hard to have that control, but I still haven't blueprinted mine yet.
Okay, so have you controlled a shot?
Yeah, I have controlled the shot, but it's every time I shoot, it's like I'm not repeating myself perfectly every time, and I get out of it, and then I fall back into that just shooting mentality instead of talking myself through it.
What do you say when you shoot?
I say pull. After I first say get the bubble level,
okay,
get it on the target, the pin, and then I start saying okay, and then I start saying pull, 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 pull.
When do you put your finger on the trigger?
Before I aim.
That is the road to disaster, my friend.
Is it? Okay.
You got to aim first.
So when you look at anybody that's dealing with shot control issues, like if you have trouble putting your pin on the target or anything like that, they all put their finger on the trigger before they aim. That's pulling the pin on the grenade before you've thrown it, right? So it's not good. So aim first. Like draw back and completely aim. Get your pin in the middle. Enjoy the show. Let it dance. You got no control over it anyways, right?
That's what I have a hard time with that part too. When that pin's floating all around, I get like, oh man, okay, we're way off.
Yeah, right, so you're putting your conscious mind into the aim where it actually can't help you.
Right.
Doesn't matter how much it shakes. It's whichever way it moves, its next movement is always back to the center. So just let it do that. So you just enjoy the show. Then you address the trigger. Then you say, here I go, to prep your mind for concentration. Then you talk yourself through the trigger press.
So over time, will that, if you're blueprinting that and you're doing that every single time, will that process speed up or will it stay kind of a little slower process.
You keep the first, you get the first 3 into the automatic stage. You draw back and aim, no question about that. Then you address the trigger, no question about that. Then you say, here I go, no question about that. But you never allow your speech that directs the pressure increase on the trigger. You never allow that to be automatic.
Okay.
That's what has to remain conscious in a shot, is the pressure increase on the trigger and how you did it. So when you're talking about blueprinting, it's what did you say and when did you say it? And it's not just, it used to be a mantra like that, like pull, keep pulling, keep pressing, whatever it is for you, right? But that's not how you would teach somebody else. Like, is that how you would talk to somebody that's got the exact same problem that you do, and you are coaching them through a shot, right? You wouldn't just like, okay, draw back and aim, and then, okay, got it. All right, now I'm going to put my finger on the trigger. Got it. Here I go. Pull, 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 pull. That's not how it works. That's not how you would teach somebody.
Okay.
You would go, okay, draw back and aim. Okay, got it. And I'm going to put my finger on the trigger. Got it. Here I go. Okay, easy now. Just a little bit of pressure. Yeah, that feels good. That's it. Stay in that. Squeeze.
Ow.
It's all the little speech that we have overlooked for years, right? Like, this is how I started. I started teaching people this way, but when I had them talk back to me, I didn't have them do the little speech. So it became this kind of artificial mantra thing, right? But if you start talking like you are teaching, it will change the game for you. Like, how would you actually talk somebody else through threading a needle, right? It wouldn't just be like, go, 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 go. It's not how it works, right? You'd be like, okay, a little bit, just a little bit left. That's it. Yeah, there you go, right? You're talking somebody through a minute movement, right?
Okay.
So that's how you speak when you are teaching yourself how to shoot. The little speech is most important. Your pull, 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 I'm not saying abandon that, but what I'm saying is that's the end of the conversation.
Yeah, and that's what I usually focus on the most too when I'm shooting, is that last part. I'm skipping all the other 3 parts.
Right. But if you don't set up those other 3 parts, then your mind is able to blend them.
Okay.
Never let your subconscious blend it.
Yeah, I think I've been in mine the whole time.
You're a bad trigger puncher. You're
draw
bad.
back and aim, right? When you draw back and aim, that's all you're doing. When you address the trigger, that's all you're doing. When you say, here I go, that's all you're doing. When you're talking through the pressure increase, that's all you're doing. You're only doing one thing at a time. Right?
Yeah, and the crazy part is when I first started shooting, I was punching that trigger like perfectly fine, and then all of a sudden I started getting all over the place, and then the target panic started getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started hearing your stuff, and it started helping a lot. But I still haven't got it perfect yet.
So, we start into archery, and it's simple, right? You draw back your bow, you put your pin on the target, and you work the trigger. No big deal, right? But every shot, your mind is learning how to brace you for impact. It's not learning how to get more accurate. It's learning how to brace you for impact. And that's the path that it takes. It doesn't take the path to accuracy. It takes the path to how can I become more efficient? Because that's what we do, right? The adult learning model. You start in the cognitive stage of learning when you're talking yourself through stuff. Then you practice with the goal of becoming automatic. That couldn't be further from the truth in shooting. Like, you can't follow the natural model in shooting. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, well, I'll keep working on it for sure, and I'll start working on those 3 a little bit more and really trying to dial it in.
Right. So, like, the best thing you can do before season here is to shoot while speaking out loud.
Okay.
It's going to sound awkward, right? It's going to sound weird.
Like, what are you doing out here?
Yeah, right. We call it commentary shooting, and it's the fastest way to get in control of your shot, because this conversation that I'm asking you to have with yourself is very difficult for the human mind to comprehend. Like, you're literally talking yourself through a movement that causes an explosion.
Right.
So just talk out loud, because that difficult conversation, it's way easier if it's born out loud, because then you're automatically overriding your thoughts. right? Thoughts
Okay.
aren't thinking. Thoughts have no instruction. Thoughts have no strategy. Thoughts cannot solve a problem. Thinking is speaking, right?
Would it be beneficial to shoot closer too, or does that part
No,
matter?
absolutely not. Shoot farther.
Okay.
Because you're not getting reps and shooting your bow. You're getting reps and letting go of the aim. Because you said yourself that's difficult for you, right?
Yeah.
So you have more of an analytical mind. You want to control the pin. You can't control the pin. Like, you won't get better until you realize that. So that's why I have people shoot farther distances so they see bigger pin movement. That's why I have people shoot on 1 foot so they have bigger pin movement. Because you're giving yourself reps and letting go of the aim and putting the conscious mind into the pressure increase on the trigger.
Okay.
Right?
So does your brain just know that the pin is just going to go back onto target?
Yeah, it's so
Like driving a car.
yeah, it's called visual proprioception. That's how it works, right? No matter which way it moves, its next movement's back to the center. If you allow it to, right?
Unless you're thinking it's not going to go there.
Well, when you put consciousness into it, like, oh my God, I'm so shaky today, that doesn't make you less shaky. All it does is take directly away from the pressure increase on the trigger. So if you want to shoot better, we got to start letting go of the aim. You still watch it, but you don't put thinking towards it. You don't put speech towards it. Unless you're having trouble putting the pin actually on the target. Like if people are locked off the target, that won't make sense anymore because those people are locked off the target. They've already got their friggin' finger on the trigger. As soon as they take their finger off the trigger, they can aim with ease. So that's how you start that process. Draw back and aim. Get it done. And then just watch it to keep it. Then you address the trigger. And when you address the trigger, the pin falls off, cool. Take your finger off the trigger. Fix the aim. Put your finger back on the trigger. If it falls off again, cool. Take your finger off the trigger. Put your pin back on the target. Put your finger back on the trigger, right? When you do those things, and then eventually, once your mind knows that you have the solution to the problem, it'll stop dropping your pin off the target because it knows you're not going to shoot. It's trying to get you to not shoot your bow, right? It doesn't like being under that stress of holding a bow back and then causing this explosion. So it's trying to get you to not shoot your bow. But as soon as you have that solution, okay, cool. You drop subconscious. If you drop my pin off the target, cool. I'm going to beat you because I'm going to just take my finger off the trigger and I'm going to fix my aim. Then I'm going to put my finger back on the trigger, right? Then I say, here I go. Then I start working. Pin falls off again. Cool. Take your finger off the trigger. Go fix it, right? Don't let down. If your pin falls off and you let down, your subconscious just won that shot. Like
Okay.
you can beat this in one shot. It might take you 4 or 5 times of putting your pin back on the target. Cool. The only reason you would let down is if you're physically exhausted and can't hold the bow back anymore. Right? Don't let down because you can't get your pin on the target. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Something we're both gonna have to work on for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, I just got back from TAC, and I'm watching these guys. They've got all the latest and greatest stuff, the packs, the rangefinders, the binos, everything, the latest archery equipment, and they're hiking up there on the mountain and they're punching the crap out of the trigger.
Yeah.
Like all you're doing is making yourself worse. And then when it comes the moment of truth, you think you're not going to punch the trigger. Of course you are, right? You've practiced your entire life for it.
Yeah.
Right. So, these guys, if they would just spend some money on themselves, invest in themselves and learn how to control a shot, then you buy all the equipment and it actually means something, right? Like you can tell the difference between this release and that release. You can tell the difference between that bow and this bow. But right now, if you punch a trigger, you don't even know what your bow feels like when it goes off because you grab onto it every time. So you're like, man, this bow's got no recoil. Well, that's because you grab it every time, right?
It's pretty hard.
You grab it as a pre-ignition movement. As soon as you punch the trigger, you grab onto the bow, and you tell what the bow actually does. So I feel bad for folks, but I don't because the information's out there.
Yeah. You got it all over the place. If people need to do better, they could just look you up right away and find out how to do it.
People are like, well, I don't have enough time before season. Man, if you got enough time to shoot one arrow, you got enough time.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's during season, fix your business so that you're doing everything you can to become ethical. Like, I'm shooting this shot with control no matter what.
I know when I have shot groups, when I have had control over my shots, I shoot so much better.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
when you punch
way
a trigger, when you punch a trigger, there's pre-ignition movements linked to the trigger motor program.
Yeah, I go from 6-inch groups down to 2-inch groups.
You don't know which one's coming. You don't know if you punch a trigger, you don't know if you're going to grab your bow. You don't know if you're going to have a micro collapse. You don't know. You don't know which one's coming. But something.
I would get the collapse is what would happen to me.
Yep.
And then I would blame it on the bow. The cams are too aggressive.
Right.
That's what I did. And I went and bought a new bow. I was like, I got to get a different bow. These cams are terrible.
A lot of people go buy a different release. Well, you should be able to control them all, right?
I went through that too.
I know there's releases with better triggers. There's releases that have horrible triggers. But you should be able to control them all no matter what.
Yeah. 100% agree.
So
what you got plans for September? Anything fun?
Oh, I got lots of fun stuff. Yeah, so I've got a good tag in Montana. Bodie's got a good tag in Montana. We're Montana residents now, so
right on.
Be fun. I'm going to be calling for some folks in Montana, and then I'm going to go hunt Colorado. I've got an amazing ranch tag down there, so yeah, it's going to be.
Are you starting in Montana?
Yeah, be starting in Montana, then to Colorado, then back to Montana if need be.
What's the season starts for that tag in Montana?
Montana, I think this year it starts on the 6th of September, I think. And it goes till the 19th of October. It's the longest Western season.
So when you're starting around the 6th, you consider that early season, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any different kind of calling tactics for that time of the year?
No, it's distressed calf for me. That's my go-to. Right? Because the bulls don't really have cows yet. I mean, some of them do, but they're not super protective because none of those cows have come into estrus. So it's distressed calf across the board because those bulls are looking for females and they are pedophiles. So the distressed calf is just such a dynamite sound that they just love.
So are you doing that the whole season?
Oh, yeah.
Or just early?
Mm-hmm. No, the whole season. They're like, calves get lost year round, right? There's no season for that. It's just how elk react to it, right? They react to it like you'll get strong maternal instincts earlier in the season when the calves are still fairly small, right? So the maternal instincts will be pretty heavy. So if there are cows in the area, they'll come right in and the bulls will be right behind them. And that lasts all the way through the rut. But when you get later in the rut, like end of September stuff, that's when the calves actually come into estrus.
The calves?
The calves come in later, right? So that's where you get your, people talk about second estrus cycle and all that stuff. That's where your calves will come in later. And that's where calf.
So that's how they get fired.
So
dynamite.
The calves that are born just like this last month in June, those will come into estrus this year?
It's not quite. It's usually like 6 months. But like if they have, it's all based on body conditions. So last year's calves, so yearlings, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Those will come in later because of the body condition, right? So with blacktails, it's now, they consider 23% body fat is the right body condition that throws a deer, a blacktail deer, into an estrus cycle. It's not moon. It's not any of that stuff. It's body.
Not the daylight, everybody says.
No, it's body condition. Well, that's the biologists are saying it's body condition now, right? So I'm going on what they're telling me. So they say with a blacktail deer, it's 23% body fat. So that's why your higher deer that are on higher elevations come into estrus later. That's why the rut is later up high for blacktails. Because
that's
food
interesting.
is different. The food is different, right? That's where, last week of October, first few days of November, down below 2,500 feet, that's why you get those deer going into estrus, where when the deer are at 4,000 feet, you're talking 19th of November, a little bit later, right?
I wonder why, if that's like for Western Washington, or Roosevelt's, if you will, if they seem like they come into rut a little bit earlier than like in Eastern Washington or just the Rockies.
Elevation changes and complete vegetation. I mean, think about how much food a Roosevelt elk has.
Everywhere.
It's
Everywhere, right? Whereas the bulls in Eastern Washington or the cows in Eastern Washington, it's a way different vegetation.
Yeah.
Different nutrients, right? So that body condition takes slightly longer.
That makes sense, actually, quite a bit.
So I'm just, I'm going on what the blacktail biologists are telling me. I'm like, why isn't it different for mule deer? Why isn't it different for elk? They're ungulates, right? That's how it works. It's just
it couldn't be any different.
Right? So the calf distress stuff, man, it's just amazing how it works because you're tapping right into the instincts of the elk.
You don't happen to have a call with you, do you?
I do. Sometimes it'll blank out the speakers, so I will. I'll step away from the computer.
Okay.
And I don't know if you can tell on your end if it blanks out the speakers or not.
I don't know if we'll be able to, but we do have a second mic that should pick you up.
Okay. So this calf distress series that I do, it's nothing special. It's just what I've heard calves do, right? And the key to it is emotion. It's not just me. You're not just a calf out there doing calf things. You are lost. You are distressed.
You're actually thinking that you're lost when you're making that sound, right?
Right. You are searching for any elk that will listen to you, right? Like, hey, where are you guys at? Right? That's what you're trying to emulate with this calf distress call, right?
Okay.
So let me step away from the computer real quick and see if I can get it to work for you. Hang on.
Your calf calls sound amazing.
Well, it's just, I've been with calves and I'm doing it right with them, within feet of them, right? So I get to hear all the little intricacies of it. And as soon as you dip into, like, if you do a break in the call, like if it's yeah, like if you do that, everybody's trying to do the nice raspy cow sounds and all that stuff. I never, ever, ever, ever make a mature cow sound.
Why is that?
There's no biological reason to make a cow sound, right? So if you're dealing with a bull that is by himself, he has no cows, would he come into a cow call? Yep, probably, right? So everybody's trying to emulate that nice raspy cow sound. But biologically, bulls, humans are the same way. We look for the younger in the species, right? Because those are more viable to have calves. So why are you going to, right? So why are you going to sound like an old cow? And if there are cows in the area and you make a mature cow sound, like, you think about this in the human world. When was the last time that a female got together with all of her girlfriends and talked nicely about another female that's trying to procreate with the man that the group chose? It doesn't happen, right? It doesn't happen.
No.
They speak very negatively about that person, right? So
yes.
So how do you expect to go into a herd of elk and sound like the hussy in the bushes? Those cows are not going to allow their bull to go play with the hussy in the bushes. It ain't going to happen, right?
So all those people that say that cow sounds work, they're just most likely calling in satellites.
Right. Right. Because if there's a cow there, like, I don't know if you guys ever got to observe this, but I've got to observe this hundreds of times where I will be close to a herd of elk and another hunter will start cow calling somewhere, trying, they heard the bull bugle or whatever. It's public land stuff. So they heard the bull bugle. They get in closer. They're within like 300 yards and they start cow calling, thinking that this bull's going to come 300 yards out of his herd to come to them, right? So, and the cows, as soon as they hear another cow that's not part of their clique, not part of their herd, man, their heads go up. They get super suspicious. Ears are forward. They get all nervous and they take their bull away. It's very, like, there's no concept of a herd or a lead bull. Bulls don't lead the herd anywhere. There's a lead cow. The bulls are just following these things. They might think they're pushing these elk, but it's only because that's the way the lead cow wants to go anyways. So switch the script on how you think about elk. It's not the bull. I got in tight on him and I was cow calling and bugling and man, he just took his cows away. That's not the case.
Yeah, why would he do that?
Because you cow called, the cows are taking the bull away.
Yeah, the bull would never take the cows away. If he's trying to get more cows, he wants more cows.
Yeah. There is no such thing as a lead bull. It's the lead cow. And as soon as you piss her off, there's no way it's going to happen.
Game over after that.
So I haven't made a mature cow sound in the last 9 years of elk hunting. And once I figured that out, my calling success has skyrocketed.
So I'm wondering why a lot of people, they'll start off with the cow call before they do a location bugle.
So that's not a bad
thing for that.
It's not a bad thing to do. You don't want to introduce a bull into the situation unless you have to. But if you cow call before you bugle and there's cows there, you've already killed the situation. You've already killed it, right? And if you're doing location bugling, hopefully you're doing that before it gets daylight.
Yep.
Or after it gets dark. Well, if you cow or calf call in the dark, you're going to pull every satellite bull in the area in the dark, and you're not going to be able to shoot them. So that leads us to a problem of location bugling. Like, how do we get this bull to bugle back to us without making calf sounds, right? So that's where the location bugle comes into play, where the bugle is ringing tone, and you don't got to get any chuckles on it. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Like I don't do two different sounds. I don't cow call and I don't bugle with chuckles, and I'll tell you why the bugle and chuckles in a little bit. But so location bugling, very high ringing tone is the key. We're not chuckling and challenging bulls and all this stuff. All you're doing is you're telling the elk that are in the area that this is your spot. And then he wants to react to you to tell you that that's his spot, right? He's going to stay in his little meadow as long as you stay in your little meadow. You hear these bulls that will bugle back and forth all night long, right? All they're doing is checking on each other. They're not calling each other in. They're just checking on each other.
Keeping tabs on the other one, not moving.
Right? They're keeping tabs on them, and they're warning you to stay away. They want to do that, right? That's why if you cow call or calf call in the dark, you're going to pull in a bunch of satellites. But if you just do a location bugle, everybody's going to bugle back to you, but nobody's going to come in. That's exactly what you want.
Yep.
Right? You just want them to stay put, do their elk thing, right? And then I get a little closer, stay out of the thermals going down in the morning, and I just stay off the side of the herd. And then once they start moving, once their bugle changes from, like, they may be glunking, they may be doing tending bugles, they may, you might hear calves mewing, that he's got cows. So as soon as they start moving, the bull will do a roundup bugle, which is high, fluty, no chuckles. Like, what would you say? Like, we know that chuckling is a bull-to-bull communication. We know that, right? So if you've gone into an area and you haven't made any noise and you hear a bull bugle with chuckles,
there's another bull.
There's another bull, right? There's more than one bull there. So there's satellite bulls there. So cool, right? Play it accordingly. But once he goes to a roundup bugle, remember, high, fluty, no chuckles, then he's on the move. So you just ghost him. Just stay off to the side of him, stay out of the thermals. You might have to go 3 or 4 miles. They're going to their bedroom, right? And as soon as his bugle changes to a bull calling cows bugle, which is short, raspy, no chuckles, as soon as it changes to that, then he's in the bedroom. And that's when you go kill him. Right? That's when I get on the same contour and I just slide in from the side. I get close to the cows and I do a bull calling cows bugle. Short, raspy, no chuckles. Again, I can do a clip for that. And you can insert that a little bit later. But
cool.
People want to go and they want to challenge that bull, right? I never make the bull the subject of my calling. Like, if I'm doing a bull calling cows bugle, I'm talking to his ladies. I'm not talking to him.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to deal with attitude. So if you've ever listened to any of my elk calling stuff, you've heard the bar scene.
Yeah.
Right?
I love it.
So, it just makes perfect sense.
It does.
for mammal biology. Have you ever heard of it?
Once I heard how you call elk, I have completely switched on how I call, and I won't ever go back.
Yeah, there's no reason to go back.
No. Last year was by far our best year, and we had so many more encounters than we had in the previous years.
Right.
And we just need to work on our setups mostly.
Yep.
Yeah,
All
it's
set.
just you're no longer doing sounds that push elk away from you. You're doing biologically correct sounds that bring elk to you. Right.
Yep.
So just for your listeners, the bar scene would be, if you had 30 seconds, if I was standing with you, another male at the doorway of the bar, and I'm like, okay, bro, you got 30 seconds to go in there and get in a fight with another male. You cannot use your hands. You can only use your words. What is your 100% strategy? And guys will think about it for a second. They're like, well, I'd go in there and I'd pick the biggest dude and I'd tell him he's a sissy boy, right? Or whatever, right? You're going to talk to the dude. I'm like, well, that depends on his attitude, whether he fights you or not.
Yeah.
Right. But if you go in and you just search for a female, she's definitely with that dude. Just go talk to her inappropriately. You'll find yourself in a fight 100% of the time. In any country in this world, you don't even have to speak the language. He just has to be able to pick up on your vibe. Right.
Yep.
So that is a short, raspy bugle with no chuckles. No chuckles is the key. Now, are bulls killed every year by bugling and chuckling? Absolutely. But those are only the bulls that are of the right attitude.
I did want to ask you a question on that. So when you're in that midday and you're in by his bedroom and you do that bull calling cow bugle, and he's going to respond to you and he's going to probably hit you with some chuckles like a challenge type bugle.
Yep.
And you ignore him and you keep talking to his ladies. Would there be any other time where you would challenge him back after that? Or would you just keep talking to his ladies the whole time?
I never challenge him.
Never.
I never talk to him. I never have to.
That just fire him up even more and ignoring him.
Imagine that you're in the bar talking to his lady and you're like, hey, baby, want to go make a calf? And she's interested, right? And what's he going to do? He's going to yell at you. And if you acknowledge him, then it goes to this, mano a mano thing that depends on attitude. But if you just like give him the hand and keep talking to her, his rage goes through the roof. Like, especially if you ignore him and just keep talking to the ladies, it's like clockwork. And that's when he'll get up and get all bowed up and just kind of walk in all slow, tough guy like, and they'll come all the way to you. There's no hang up spots. Like you guys were talking about your setups.
Yeah.
If you're having to worry about your setups, then you got to work on the sounds that you're making. Like if you're doing calf sounds, they come all the way to you.
Well, no, last year after I was getting in tight on these bulls and we were doing lip balls and those short bulls calling cow bugles, I was guilty of throwing a couple chuckles in afterwards every now and then. So I was challenging him, and
I think after that he would push off.
He would push off a little bit, and then we'd have to reset up and do it again.
Yep.
And it took
like 4 hours.
It took a little time to actually get him fired up enough to where he would come in.
Right.
That was like a 4-hour challenge.
As
Right?
So
soon
it's
as
confirmation on what you're talking about completely.
Yeah, as soon as you cow call or bugle with chuckles, you're delaying it because you're dealing with attitude.
Yeah.
Right? Don't ever deal with attitude. Just deal with instinct. Distressed calf or bull calling cow's bugle.
So last year we were also, during the daytime when we weren't knowing where the bulls were at, we were also doing that bulls calling cow bugle to try to locate bulls. Is that a terrible idea?
Nope, because it's a great idea because you're just a bull with your cows working through an area.
Okay.
Right? So it's great. It's a great location bugle, but bulls don't just walk around bugling and chuckling.
No. When I was doing that, there was no chuckles involved. I would get excited when we got into the bulls, like within 100 yards or so, and that's when I would start forgetting what you're talking about, and I would start chuckling.
Yeah,
I get excited
all the time,
it's
man.
Target panic for bulls, right?
Yeah, human beings
gonna come in for sure.
Chuckling's a cool sound, man, and we want to do it. Like when I'm talking to, lots of young elk callers will call me up for competition stuff or advice or whatever, and they're like, "How's my chuckle sound?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, it sounds great." I'm like, "Don't ever do that in the woods." They're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, I know you're good at it. It's a cool sound, bud, but man, you're you're really lowering your odds. There's no reason to lower your odds. Like when I'm talking with, because all the really good elk callers, we talk amongst each other. Most of them are call makers or whatever, and these guys that we've competed with in the past and all this, and you ask them like, what's your percentage of bulls? They're usually around 30%, like around 30% of the bulls that they're dealing with, they call in. I'm way over 90%.
Nice.
Because they're selling elk calls, right? I'm not selling you elk calls. They want to sell you all these sounds. You need to know how to do a distressed calf and a bull calling cow's bugle. That's all you really need to know.
Sweet. I can do that.
Yeah. We can,
in 23, I called in 54 bulls to 40 yards or less. Last year was 38 bulls to 40 yards or less. Now, I get to hunt some amazing places. I get that, right? But it's, we're calling in just about every bull we deal with. Why wouldn't you? You're doing it biologically correct.
Yeah. After hearing how you call elk, I have really thought about it, and it's like, man, that totally makes sense, and that's really what you should be doing. It just humanizes it completely.
Right. And I didn't learn this from the elk. I just learned it from being a cop and going to hundreds of bar fights.
Well, that's why I'm kind of glad you're around that way, because I don't have to learn from the elk either.
All right. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you're getting up early in the morning when you're locating?
Yeah, when I locate, I'm usually out there about 2:30 in the morning.
Okay.
2:30.
If you get a bull to respond, are you just going to hang tight until daylight?
It depends on where I'm at in my bugling route. Like, you've got kind of a route that you do or whatever, if you're driving or if you're hiking or, on a bicycle or whatever you're doing. Depends on where I'm at in my route. Like if it's right early, like if I crack off a location bugle and I get a response right away, I'm like, okay, I'm going to just save that one for later.
Okay.
Right? I'll go do my route and see what other bulls I can find. Like maybe I know that bull's in a nasty hole that's very difficult to access or whatever. I may go look for something else, but you're always coming back to that one, or a lot of times you're coming back to that bull, and I just stay off to the side, stay out of the thermals. I usually get within about 400 yards of him, and I just listen. Like, what's he got going on? Has he got a bunch of cows? What's he doing? Then as soon as I hear that roundup bugle, man, I just figure out which direction they're going, and I stay out of their way. I don't try to kill them in transit. Once they get to the bedroom, before they go to bed, and you hear the excitement start up again, that's when I go get them. But you got to be careful when you do that, because a lot of times when they're in transit, they'll go over a terrain feature and you're like, oh man, he stopped bugling. He didn't stop bugling. He just went over a terrain feature and you can't hear him anymore. So you got to hustle to that terrain feature to pinpoint him again. Because people they stop and they try to call, trying to get him to go off again, where he's not even hearing you. And now he's been able to gain a bunch of ground on you. So when you get to the top of that hill, he's over the next one. And then you think he's gone.
And then you can't find him where his bedroom's at.
And you can't find where his bedroom's at, right? So, I mean, these things are going, like Roosevelt's not that far, but like some of the Rocky Mountain bulls that I deal with, they're like going 4 or 5 miles.
Yeah, we were noticing where we're hunting, most of the bulls were moving like about a half mile to a mile.
Yeah.
At most.
Yeah, that's normal.
So but they're pretty talkative when we're hunting.
They are or not?
They are. They'll in the middle of the day. I mean, just about any time, they'll let you know right where they're at.
Good. That's easy business, man.
Yeah, we could just not forget to stop chuckling.
Right. So it's taken you. So you're in your 8th year and you haven't killed a bull yet.
No, but my first, not to make excuses, but my first like 7 years with the calling, I really was kind of all over the place. I'd be watching this person. Oh, I need to do it this way. You watch some of the videos and you're like, okay, location bugles all day long from every nook and cranny. And that's what you're supposed to do. Well, I had 1 year where I went 7 days without getting any responses. And all I did was locate the whole time.
Right.
So it's been last year, like I said, was by far our best year. And I used a lot more of what the stuff you're talking about.
So instead of doing that location bugle all over and sound checking with that, sound check with the distressed calf. Because then
Can you do that through the tube too? Does it still sound good?
No, because as soon as you go through a tube with your cow call or calf call, it gets too deep and you go into the calf spectrum. There's there's not very many cows that are by themselves, just, going crazy out there, but there's calves that get lost, like I said, all day, every day. So as soon as you get to a terrain feature and you have some ground to check it with a distressed calf series. If you don't get anything, like if nothing happens, there's no elk there. Just treat it like I don't bust elk anymore in the woods. I used to bust elk all the time, stepping into timber patch or whatever, and all the elk get up and off they go because I didn't sound check enough. But as soon as you get to a terrain feature, sound check what's in front of you and realize that sound that you made did not go around the hill or over the hill. So then if you don't hear anything in there, go through there to the next terrain feature, hit them again. And you'll be amazed at what happens. A cow will mew, a bull will bugle, somebody's going to break a stick, whatever. Just be ready for it. Don't just have an arrow knocked when you do your sound check. Just
it's so fun to throw out a location bugle, though.
Well, yeah, I guess you can just have a fun bugle hike if you want.
Bugle all day.
Yeah, that's what they did too.
Many miles. I think one day we did 14 miles.
Yeah. So just get an arrow knock. Be ready. Be in a place that you could actually kill an elk. Don't be standing in the middle of a field when you do that. Right?
Okay.
So then send out your distressed calf series. If there's elk there, they will respond to that.
Will they respond, or will they just come in slow, or is that dependent on where
there is no coming in slow to calf calls usually. You don't get silent bulls that just tippy toe into calf sounds. You'll get silent bulls that'll tippy toe into cow sounds, but not usually calf sounds.
I don't think we did any calf sounds last year.
No calves at all.
If you guys are just standing there or sitting where you're sitting right now and you hear an adult female screaming outside, right? You're both going to move off the couch. Both going to move off the couch, but you're only going to the door.
Right.
You peek out the door what the heck is going on out there, right? Because adult sounds cause suspicion. Now, if you guys were sitting there on the couch and a baby started crying outside your door, you're both going outside.
Every time.
Every time, right? You're going outside. So it's like you throw inhibition or you throw caution to the wind when it's a baby. But
this is why I love your stuff so much, because it just makes so much sense.
Yeah.
You just gotta drill it into the brain.
Yeah.
I don't get bulls sneaking in anymore. If I send out that calf series and I hear that stick pop, I'm like, oh, they're coming. Because they're coming, right? So yeah, they throw caution to the wind when you're on the calf end of it.
Do you ever do any raking at all?
No, not usually, because the bull calling cow's bugle is basically raking. It's a display, right? They will rake a lot. I killed a giant bull, a 366 bull 2 years ago in Colorado. When a bull, when you do the bull calling cow's bugle, you get in tight on the cows, hopefully within 60, 70 yards of the cows. You do a bull calling cow's bugle. The bull will start raking a tree usually. When he rakes a tree, that's when you talk to his ladies again, because he's displaying to intimidate you. That's what raking is, right? So he's displaying, and then you talk to his cows over his display, and he'll stop raking the tree, and he's coming. This particular bull, this was at 12,000 feet, and this bull liked to rake a lot. He was a giant, he was the king of the mountain. And I got within about, probably 400 yards of him, or where I thought he was, and I did a bull calling cow's bugle. I knew he had cows, so I'm not going to do a distressed calf sound because I don't actually want to call the cows in.
Right.
So I'm just going to talk to the ladies with my bull calling cow's bugle. He responds. He hadn't bugled all morning. I just was lucky enough to see where he was. And so once I did my bull calling cow's bugle, he responded one time. I'm like, man, I got to gain ground. So I went up the hill another 100 yards. And when I got to the spot that I thought I was going to call him in, I stopped and I could hear him raking. So what did I do? I did a bull calling cow's bugle right over the top of him. And that's when he comes in and he starts raking a tree at 15 yards then. So I shot him. I shot him while he was raking a tree.
That's pretty cool.
It was awesome. It was awesome footage. I got it all on GoPro. I had the GoPro on my head. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
But that's how you handle that. Like I didn't have to do a bunch of sounds. I gave him the BCC. He responded. I knew I had to move up. I moved up 100 yards, got to the last place I thought I could kill him. I could hear him raking the tree, do the BCC again, just one more. And then as soon as I heard him stop raking the tree, I'm like, okay, he's coming. And then I heard his rocks. The rest is history. But I mean, he pinpointed exactly where I was, came into 15 yards, and started raking a tree. It was pretty.
I'll have to really work on making sure I don't do no chuckles this year.
Yeah, there's just no reason to. You're just playing with fire when you do that. You don't need to do that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It's just like shooting the bow, right? You just keep it simple.
Yeah. When you got to really dive into that thoughts aren't thinking statement, that concept, right? Because when that bull comes, you're like, oh my God, that thing's a friggin' giant. That has no instruction. It has no strategy. It can't solve the problem if you put an arrow in his lungs, right?
Yeah.
So if you keep that thought, and all antlers do is increase the volume of thoughts, right? You're like,
they make it bad. Holy
right?
crap.
Right? When this thing, 366 bull comes around the corner, I'm like, oh my God, that thing's a giant, right?
Yeah.
That big bull I killed in the Nooksack, I'm like, he comes around the corner at 30 yards, I'm like, oh my God, that thing's a giant, right?
I think it's hard to get away from that.
It is, but let that in. That's cool, right? You can't control your thoughts, but you can always control your thinking. That's why you got to blueprint how you shoot your shot.
Yeah.
Draw back and aim. No mystery there. Then I address the trigger. No mystery there. Then I say, here I go. No mystery there. Then on a bull elk, you scream yourself through the pressure increase on the trigger, right? Thinking is your voice, and it's got to be the loudest one in the room. You can't control the volume of thoughts, but you can always control the volume of your thinking, right? But getting that shot down, speaking out loud, is the fastest way to do it.
I'll definitely work on that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to work on that a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
you guys should be like shooting with each other, talking to each other. Like, okay, I'm talking you through this shot. Right? And what would it sound like? Like, I'll do a commentary shot. It would sound like this. If I was doing a commentary shot with a release aid, let's say do you guys shoot index or thumbs, or what do you shoot?
Index.
Yep.
Okay, so index finger trigger. Okay. I'm drawing back and aiming. Okay, got my pin in the middle. Got it. Say something at the end of the step, right? Okay, got my pin in the middle. Got it. All right, now I'm putting my finger on the trigger, a little bit of pressure, not too much. Yeah, okay. Got it. All right, here I go. Easy now, just a little bit. That's it. Yeah, stay in that. That's good. Full boom until the shot goes off. You got to keep talking out loud until your conversation becomes easy. You got to keep talking out loud until you know what you're going to say next. Right?
Okay.
And then you know how you do what you do. Then you take that to the elk woods with no mystery. Like, I know exactly how I'm going to shoot my next bull elk. There's no mystery. I don't know if I'm going to hit him in the middle or what, but I know I'm going to control everything that I can. Right?
Yeah.
So there you have it, my man.
Well, we appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was fun.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you?
So shotiq.com is one of my main websites. That's where I've got online courses in archery, rifle, and pistol, and also the Mind IQ course. So that's at mindiq.com or shotiq.com. That's for if you're training, it's for sports. It's for cerebral problems like anxiety, all those things. So we teach you how to actually control your mind in sports movements and in cerebral problems like anxiety, depression, and such. So we've got shotiq.com, we've got mindiq.com, and if you want to know more about me and kind of the story behind all this stuff, it's turnermodel.com. And that kind of tells the story of me and how we came to be.
Right on. That's awesome.
You have it.
Yeah.
Well, we do appreciate you coming on today. Really cool to hear all this stuff.
Thanks for giving us your time.
Hopefully we can help all those other guys out there follow Joel's information, and maybe they'll have more encounters like we're going to have this year.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's a big bull.
All right, Joel. We'll keep in touch.
All right. Take care, fellas.
Right on.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.